Hey, what's up, YouTube? I just wanted to comment on some news I just got a few days ago, which was Keith Thurman versus who is it? Mario Barrios? Is it Mario? I know it's Barrios for sure, and that's the guy that the Tank fought, which is at 130. Okay, he's at 135, but he fought a 140 pounder. And then Keith Thurman's at like what 145 or something like that. That what 147. That's what welterweight is. Okay, so you got like 7 pounds, and he's already ranked like 7 or something at at 140. But let's see. I'm looking at Ring Magazine. Dang, it doesn't look like Keith Thurman is even ranked. Man, that's quick. You got Virgil Ortiz in there. So that's kind of crazy how stacked this division is. And when there's a stacked division, you know what you see? You see nothing. No one wants to fight. I mean, when you got Keith Thurman getting a tune-up, let's see. He doesn't want to fight Terence Crawford. He don't want to fight Errol Spence. Those are like arguably 1 and 2, or however you want to place them. Let's call Errol 1. Let's call Terence 2. Let's call Ugas 3. He don't want to fight Ugas. He don't want to fight Jaron Ennis because he don't even know who he is. He ain't never heard of him. And Virgil Ortiz, he don't want to fight Virgil Ortiz coming back. Danny Garcia already fought him, beat him. You got Emaitas Stanoines, and then you got David Avanesian, and then Rashab Butaev. Who does he fight coming back? I mean, I know he fights Barrios, but what did that do? Here's what I'm thinking. If he loses to Barrios, I think no one wants to see him anymore. I mean, you're done. I think he's saying, okay, I'm gonna come in here. Well, I got several problems. Let me backtrack. Here's what's wrong with boxing. How do you fight someone? He should be fighting some type of a welterweight, man. I don't care if it's the last ranked dude, but you can't jump down to a guy like that. And I just don't have any words, man. Like, they just start throwing all of these guys in here. I think the last guy he should even see. Here's another thing: tune-ups. I don't think they should go on your record because they're a tune-up. They're not a real fight. They're not a threat. They're not a threat. They shouldn't go on your record. It's just like a freebie. So it should be a they should be what you would call kind of like one of those celebrity deals, right? I don't know what they call them. My mind went blank, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Like a celebrity fight, something just for fun. That's what should happen. But I guess if a tune-up fight, isn't that what training camp's for? Isn't that what, I mean, isn't he getting in there with like some of these other fighters in his training camp and just going for a big name and then just training right now? Why doesn't he fight this guy off the record, Mario Barrios, off the record? Because he wants to put another win on his record, and that's all of boxing. You saw Floyd Mayweather do that, picking and choosing the right guy, and then not only that, he'd clinch and hold and, turn a 12-round fight into 6. And I don't know, man. That's what I have. That's my big problem with boxing. But back to Thurman. If he loses, no one wants to see him. If Barrio wins, he just becomes a little bit more relevant. And then that also elevates Tank Davis, because you could argue that Tank Davis is he even gonna fight. I think he may fight Tank Davis. That's the type of shit that Thurman's gonna pull, Mister Keith Thurman, Mister One Time Thurman, pulling the shenanigans. I don't know, man. Um, but Thurman could come back to try to give someone some trouble. I'm eyeing maybe Virgil Ortiz if he has some cojones. I think he may start with Virgil Ortiz. I don't think he starts with Jaron Ennis. Although, all of these black fighters, they're always talking about, that they need to stick together and all of this stuff. That would be badass if Keith Thurman fought Jaron Ennis, because that would do is it would pass on the torch. It would be a really good measuring stick for the boxing media to see Jaron Ennis in there with a fighter that Manny Pacquiao just fought. And Keith Thurman's a good fighter, but that would be really good. Or even Virgil Ortiz, whoever fights him out of these guys, kind of gets elevated. And what it does, it does this for whether you're casual or if you're you casually walks you're a casual fan, or you're a little bit more involved, or you've been watching for some time. It kind of gets you ready. It kind of gets us a preview how ready is Jaron Ennis for the likes of Terence Crawford, Errol Spence, and Ugas. And these guys, they don't want that fight to happen. If Keith Thurman gives these guys an opportunity, whether it be Virgil or Jaron Ennis, and they beat him, and I'd be okay with if see, a lot of these guys are going to vacate. They're going to be pulling that Porter crap. And hey, man, that's all good. See, if he can't handle it, if he quits and it's like, dude, it's too much. I'm on my way out anyways. I'm out. I'm done. But what that does is it gives the public a kind of a gauge and say, okay, man, he's fighting. He's fighting the likes of someone that's right below Terence Crawford and Errol Spence. So it validates the talk of being in the same conversation. These guys can be in the same conversation now. If Jaron Ennis beats Thurman, he can jump in there with Ugas, with Errol and Terence, and say they don't want that because Terence beats Ugas or Errol beats Ugas, and now someone. See, you're gonna see your boxing's gonna get real interesting. You're gonna see a lot of people drop out, man. Danny Garcia, I don't know why he's even ranked. I don't know who's gonna be fighting. He's not gonna be fighting anyone because Jaron Ennis and Virgil Ortiz are very active and strong fighters. They have pretty big bodies. Danny Garcia was not fighting pretty big guys for quite some time. And Ugas is a pretty big guy. And who are they going to fight? They have to give these guys a chance. Either Ugas has to give Jaron Ennis a chance. Virgil Ortiz has to give Jaron Ennis a chance. And here's what I'm talking about where, the boxing media is getting really racist. And they're saying that here you got 3 African American fighters, Terence Crawford, Errol Spence, and Ugas. If these guys don't fight the next guy that you're mandatory, and they start skipping around and fighting bums, the fanboys are gonna say, oh well, they deserve to get up there, and now they don't have to fight anybody. I think Floyd just came out and said, all top. He pretty much said all black fighters should be ranked number 1, 2, and 3, and they shouldn't have to fight each other. And I think even African American people were embarrassed by that. And it's like, dude, we don't need you talking for us. Like, these guys are already up there. I think like Manny Pacquiao told Errol Spence. He says you don't need him. You're already better than him. And these guys are like Jaron Ennis is gonna supersede. He's going to. I think he's gonna be better than Terence Crawford and Errol Spence. Look at Errol Spence. He's got 27 fights, 21 KOs. Jaron Ennis has 28 fights, 26 KOs. We don't know the quality of fights they are. A lot of those 7 knockouts for Errol Spence have been quality knockouts and quality fights for sure. Terence Crawford, he has 38 wins, 29 knockouts. You got Boots with just like, what is it, 3 KOs less than Crawford. And Crawford had a pretty weak resume. He didn't have the strongest of resumes. And he'd been pound for pound for some time. I don't know. I think Crawford's deal is going to be like, moving up to the top tier and fighting, Errol Spence and Ugas. I don't think he KOs that type of caliber fighter. I think they're a little bit bigger, and he's not going to be able to do what he did to Porter. And these guys just hit a lot harder, so he's going to have to respect him a lot more. And he can't get away with running around the ring like Floyd did. Only one guy was allowed to get on his bike, and that's Floyd. And the rest of the guys, they just don't have that those connections, I guess. And they're not trying to get their wins in that fashion either. And that's why they're going to be more liked than Floyd. Already, I'm a fan of like all of these guys. Like, I'm a fan of Terence. I'm a fan of Errol Spence. I'm happy for Ugas, although I don't know Ugas. I know very little of him. And Jaron Ennis, I'm a fan. Like, it's crazy because I've never been a fan of so many people on once and then you can't not be a fan of Virgil Ortiz. They're just I think that's the new future right there. And then you got Danny Garcia's not going to be active. He's not going to be a gatekeeper. That's just a bunch of wear and tear for no money, man. For these guys like Danny and Thurman they're either going to have to fight these guys, or they're going to make easy money through fighting Barrios and using their names. I think if you think about it, that's just smart. They're no longer fighting for legacy. They're fighting for this, like, fillers. Let's see how much I can get the fans for. I don't see it good or bad, because I do see it bad, but at the same time, if you're gonna watch it, then watch it. If you don't, I'm not gonna watch it. That's for sure. I wouldn't pay for something like that. But it's gonna be interesting to see who fights who. I would want to see who Terence fights next, who Errol fights next, who Ugas fights next. They're all exciting, and it looks like they have to fight Virgil or Ennis, and I'm beginning to think that they won't. I need to really do some research and see who they'll end up fighting, if there's any mandatories. I know we're gonna see Ugas. We're gonna see Ugas in the mix with Terence or Errol before they go at each other. Once they go undisputed, one of them is not gonna fight the other one right away. They're gonna get some fillers in, just like all the other boxers like Floyd and Canelo are doing. They're not gonna go straight for the especially Errol. Errol, after his surgery, he's not gonna be the most active boxer. If we're going to see more activity, it's going to be from Terence. And then we're going to have, I think we actually see Jaron Ennis fight Ugas. I think that's going to be either Ugas or Man, the top two, they don't. I don't think he touches the top two. I don't think. I don't think he gets it. If he gets it, I think it's amazing. I think. I think he beats both of them. I think he beats Errol Spence, and then a lot of people are gonna say I'm crazy, but yeah, I'm as crazy as people thought. You know, Terence Crawford had his fans, and you know he was a super small guy, and you know everybody had him beating everyone. You know, he's been ranked pound for pound for some time now. That's just my. I have a fan. That's just who I envision being the next, the future. And but let's see who we get. This division is exciting. 140. It's going to be less boring because we're going to get Tiafimo in there, and he's a clown. He's entertaining. Whether he's crying on stage with his dad, talking mess, it's entertaining. And we'll see what happens with that. And then 135, we got the whole bunch of inactive guys over there. They're running from the future. They're trying to hold on to whatever belts they have, if they have any. And that's it for this one, guys. I'll see you on the next one.